Hello. Welcome to your weather lesson for today. My name is Mrs. Corner. I'll be your teacher. We're kind of introducing weather because some of the second graders at Onika have not had any weather lessons yet. And what we're going to talk about today is atmosphere, where all the weather happens. And we're going to talk about one of the important weather measuring tools that we use all the time called a thermometer. First of all, atmosphere is it's the blanket of air that surrounds the earth. So if you picture a little globe sitting here and a little blanket wrapped around it, that's atmosphere. And it's only right above the earth, and that's where all the wind and the weather takes place. Atmosphere, the blanket of air that surrounds the earth. See if we can remember that definition. Atmosphere. Try to say it. The blanket of air. Thank you. That's what we're going to remember today. That's where all the weather happens. All around the world, you can see that little haze around that globe. I thought it was cool because it looks like the atmosphere there. That's where winds change, temperature changes, clouds move, and it's all happening all the time. Inside the atmosphere, weather changes constantly. Why do we need to know the weather? Well, think about it. In order to know what to wear, in order to know, can we have that outdoor picnic today? In order to know, my friend invited me on a boat ride, but if it's stormy, I'm not going to go. We'll cancel it and reschedule. So lots of reasons, and also severe weather, and we need to know how to be prepared for that. So those are reasons to know the weather. Today, we're going to focus in on one of the important weather measuring tools called a thermometer. Have you ever seen one of these? I bet you have. People have them sometimes if they're in their houses, outside of their houses. A lot of times people will check the weather on their phone, but a thermometer is often used to read and tell the actual temperature. We are going to take a look at the little red line on a thermometer, and that's mercury. The coolest thing about mercury is when it gets hot, it expands. And in a thermometer, there's only one way to go, and that's up, up, up. So as we're checking the temperature, if it's rising and rising and rising, we know it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And that's usually what happens during the course of a day. You've seen thermometers. You've probably seen a little one that someone may have taken your temperature if you weren't feeling well. That's going to read it digitally. This is another thermometer that you might see outside. Sometimes they're round and sometimes they're rectangular shaped like this one. All different types of thermometers, all measuring how hot it is. There's two scales of measurement. One's called Fahrenheit and one's called Celsius. Fahrenheit is the one that we use here in the United States. So if somebody says, well, today it's 50 degrees out, we all kind of know that means it's kind of mild. If someone says it's 30 degrees out, well, that's a little below freezing, and I'm probably going to grab my jacket and maybe my snow pants. The Celsius is another form of a scale, and it's used almost everywhere else in the world other than America. And if it says it's 0 degrees, that means that it's 32 degrees here, and that's called the freezing point. That's exactly where water will turn to ice. And 100 degrees, you can't see it on this thermometer, but 100 degrees Celsius, way up, 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 that's boiling. That's if you had water on the stove at the point where it started to bubble and boil, 100 degrees for Celsius. Fahrenheit, it's 212, where water turns into bubbling vapors. So what have we learned today? We learned that atmosphere is the blanket of air that surrounds the earth. We learned that inside that atmosphere is where all the weather takes place. We learned that temperature can be measured with a thermometer, and we can read it with Fahrenheit and Celsius. For the last part of your science class today, I want you to click on the Brain Pop video. Annie and Moby are going to teach you a little more about thermometers that you're going to need to know for later this week. Hope you're having a great week. Bye-bye.